Welcome to Moonlight Truth Studios. It is me. I am coming as Christelle, the Earth and Hollow. I just kind of want to talk and just kind of share a little bit, give a little bit of backstory on myself. Um, it's a lot of backstory with me of experience and knowledge and growing and purging and all kinds of stuff. Okay, I have a exclusive experience in certain realms within life that deals with the integration of our darkness and our light, our ego and our higher self, our angel, our demon. It comes so many ways. But currently, I am getting ready to take a whole nother role, a whole nother identity shift, a whole new slate, a whole brand new canvas, new supplies that needs to orchestrate to create something new. I'm at another phase, another cycle, but the phases before this cycle, the mental psychosis that I endured, the supernatural phenomenons that I've experienced and endured, being the black sheep, being the oddball, the one that needs to implement and make the change through sacrifice of self and children, still in safe, not in harm's way, but for example, I'm returning back. This is my second year of my return here on this land and where I'm at. And this land is native to my Okanichi Banasaponi, um, part of who I am. So I have a very strong connection here to the land. My mother and I, in the intentions of getting this place back in 2017, 16 into 17, and going through the process, was the intention of her to assist me to rear and raise my children because I did not have a consistent father assistance, involvement, and I didn't have a significant or one that will be able to fulfill that father daddy-o type situation. This was during the time when I was just going through a lot. I was just like being so ostracized, just things were just a crazy mess, and it put me to where I had to sacrifice and abandon ship because the timing of the plan was not to happen then. Plus, I found out some other things in regards to, like, my divine partner had, during the time that I came here, had just was deported, was moved somewhere else for a period of time, and they had to return. So there was really no need for me to actually be here, because there was a lot of dreams of enemies and things that I was experiencing. There was a lot of moments by the fire where I just had to cry and speak to the ancestors and things, and like, y'all see what I'm going through. I was just like going through the mostest with torture, and then I finally heard them say, like, it's time to leave. It's time to abandon ship. So in this abandoning of the ship and in the agreement and everything, it took me where I had me and my four children, um, that were smaller, much smaller at the time, to where I had to find us somewhere to live. So I had my god sister at the time, and that's where we had sojourned to. And at this time, I didn't have a vehicle neither. So I'd had a license, but no vehicle. And so we were there, and certain things within her I started to see shift and change. And it was just certain things in my observations, so that put me to where now, okay, we done got here, we're not even here a month or whatever. She had enough room to where, it could have been the girls' room and then the boys' room, and she still had her own room, her own space and everything. But me and my children, I'm willing to do what I got to do, right? We're crammed in that one bedroom. Let's put the mattresses down on the floor. This is where y'all gonna sleep. Y'all sleeping in the main other bed with me, boys down on the floor, you know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do, right? Um, anyway, so there was something that I had saw in her. My discernment saw a shift. It was like a shadow type thing. Anywho, so that triggered me to where now I got to make a move, another move. Like, just got a little bit, not comfortable, but just had everything in storage and was just working on the system, looking for a place and everything. That's what it was. Looking for a place, and it was just not working out in my favor, certain stuff, and that little demon thing or whatever in her started to rave, and I was looking and watching. But anywho, so then that's what led me to the little town of Farmville that I first was living in when I migrated from Baltimore, Maryland, here to North Carolina. So Farmville was the very first experience that I had within the country life. There's a lot of backlog, you know. So moving then back to Farmville, the original space that I started, all of this makes perfect sense. I'm just trying to give a little bit of the backlog of the story. And then maybe, if y'all would like, you can, let me know in the comment section if you would like more, more detail in certain events, that I may have experienced, because all of it was within coming to the understanding of the influences and the conditions that was placed on me, that were trauma or things, characteristics of someone else, and who I had become that wasn't truly me. And so it has a lot to do with my growth and why now I am finally in total alignment, from things within the physical as well as with the cosmos, and everything is saying according to my natal chart, my birth science. Everything is in perfect alignment finally. And it, because I've released the generational curses, I've dealt with them. I know how to go into the belly of the beast. I know how to, all of that, you know what I'm saying? And what is needed, to get through that. Because this spiritual journey, this conscious space of awareness and coming to integrate and to learn thyself, it's not all love and light. It's fucking hate. It's cruel. It's brutal. It's painful. Because there's so many hard truths and realities that you gotta face, that you got to come inside yourself and come to accept, especially when I was here the first time and I kept having this reoccurring dream, where this big ass snake, serpent, like an anaconda, whatever, would be underneath the floor, but where me and my children's bedroom were, it couldn't go past that, but it would cause havoc. Anytime I would step on any other part of the floor in the house, it was just always just like chaos, like you could see it move. And one day in the dream world, I'm like, hold up, what is this? Like, what is? And this head came up and I saw the head, and I asked spirit, like, y'all, like ancestors, like, who is this? And then I come to find that I was sleeping with the enemy, and the enemy at that time was my mother, my own flesh and blood. That was something that was so devastating and so hard to believe and trust in what I was receiving from spirit and the actions and things that I had to go through. However, I had to go get me an incense real quick because these mosquitoes tearing up my little legs, y'all. Okay, these mosquitoes is tearing up my little legs, my little ankles. All right, ooh, child, because I got on these little kulaka thing, kulaka baka wakas. But anywho, that's an ant mound. I do not want to disturb that because that's a crossbreed. That's some type of crossbreed ant over there. But I really need it down here. But you know what? Let me see if I can stick it in between the weave of this chair. Like so, like that. Yeah. So, I've had to make major sacrifices throughout my time. Even ones before 2017, I've had to make major sacrifices. I do desire that you can hear me. I know what the spiritual and physical work truly looks like and how it applies within our everyday life, um, within that evolutionary healing journey to really get to that quality of life or that peace and bliss within one's soul, in that full reconnection of all of who they are within the cosmos, within the masculine, feminine principles, the inner child within, all of these things, within. I really truly understand how to bring and get the house to come together, what's required. But so anyways, I am a rambler, okay? Anyways, so I've been back here for 2 years, and my mom transitioned, went to the original state of Maryland, and now I have a whole new look within my reality, because a lot of the healing, the point of all of this, a lot of the healing and trauma of the maternal matriarch and the paternal matriarch, of the debts and things of that nature, and even things of my own past life, I was able to clean it up. And now I'm being faced with the renewing of my whole life and identity, to where it's going to open me up to be able to be within that space of movement even more within freedom. Because now the focus of responsibilities of being a mother is actually about to be lifted. And I still will be a mother forever and always. And some people may not even understand fully. However, my daughters are about to take a transition. The weight of them, the care of them is about to be lifted off of me. And that's going to allow the creativity of the things of my life to change. And for my daughters as well, because the experience of myself and being a daughter, a little daughter at one point, instead of being an adult daughter to the Most High, I see in my own girls similar emotional needs or similar things that I cannot provide for them. That is something that the father has to nurture, has to bond and put into them, that I no longer can do. And my oldest daughter of the same father is 16, with special needs, and special attention and stuff. And baby girl, she's going to be 13 on the summer solstice, the 21st. So, yeah. So this is going to be something new for me. I have a whole different thing of my identity that is shifting, and it's a reward. It is a grand reward from the journey of me and children and rearing them, and how and what I've learned from each individual child, and how each individual child is, how it relates to the areas that we may dream, or areas of our ancestor spirits, that are living certain trauma or drama or karma or whatever in that individual child, and how we can come to heal and deal with that in the child, and how it brings us into the wholeness through children. And also, it makes me a great teacher, a great guide for those that has been the motherless or the fatherless, because I stand strong in my Capricorn and my Cancer within my descendant and my rising, and I've learned how it works and how it maneuvers. So for those that truly are ready to face the things that stand between you and your soul, your divine purpose, your bliss, your gateway, your doorway, your final place to be able to do the grand work that you're to do. Whether your grand work that's here for you to do is 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, so forth. But and some are to last, to be for a legacy that continues on even after you're here, you know. So yeah. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop this little ramble here. But yeah, just like, subscribe, share, comment. But that's what I'm going to be kind of coming into these spaces of my life, um, and still also incorporate the sun, moon, and rising and beyond, um, so that way everyone can start to learn how to read, how to better understand these energies that are housed all within one being of you, of your natal chart, how your natal chart and what it reads, so that you can kind of get a glimpse in your timing, learning when your timing of your phases and cycles within life, to give you a general read of the stars, and learning how to read it for yourself, with where you are personally within your life. But also, I'm a guide as well to assist within that, because my calling is coming greater back into the arts and things that I craft with my hands, as well as implementing and getting that plan together because of my experiences and what I know is needed individually. But everybody's individual format and blueprint and what I can advise or how it moves is different than Joe Blow down there. But anywho, I am certified by the Most High Source, Supreme Creator of all life, that is, has been, always will be. And once again, I am Christelle, okay? Christ L, the earth and hollow, that channels the energy of Mama Soul and Grandma Spider. And until next time, my beautiful creatures, I do desire that you become a part of this journey, as I begin to really start, to spread my wings, because right now it feels like I'm in a very uncomfortable spot. It's like I'm just fully pregnant and I'm just miserable. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dang, when is this going to be over? Or in that Christmas, like breaking and moving to, and finally seeing the split and seeing light filter in, because there's clarity now, you can see. And it's like you still got to get it the rest of the way. So, and moving, because remember, the wings and the body is still soft, from going through that liquidation process and redeveloping and all of that, which is part of those 2017 and things of that nature. And now the return back here. Okay, so anyways, I'm at the point where now it's like I'm getting ready to be able to explore and see the world in a whole different way than I have ever before. And I've had glimpses before in my younger years. But anywho, again, I ramble. I have to say this before I move my location. I got my instinct up because I was getting ready to move my location. And this is part of the bittersweet, the hard truths, the bittersweet. Some of us parents, mothers or fathers, it doesn't matter. Some of your situations is going to be through divorce decree and separating from the child. Don't fight it. Let your heart and spirit speak. And this is the hardest one of them all. Some of you, it's going to be through physical body in the soil, trans type positions, in order for these new and clean canvases, opportunities, true opportunities for some to have the clean canvas, to then begin to do the true spiritual shadow work of integration and facing those things that have not been wanting to look at. So those that have that most detrimental loss through that natural thing, of life and death, right? But the most difficult and most uncomfortable, because that is the sign of you didn't take certain things seriously. You took certain things for granted. You didn't devote yourself to the fullest somehow. Everyone's situation, there's something, you didn't want to go into the infestation. You didn't really want to analyze and decode your dreams and the signs and the symbols. You didn't really go and do the offerings, like you were supposed to in certain things, and doing the altars and doing certain things that were spoken to you, but you pushed them aside because the world and paying the bills and the world to do this or to do that and to do this took your attention. So this will be those that experience. It's important too for you to look at the truth within yourself, to look at the truth behind what it is that you were running from, what it is that you were chasing. It's really the time to utilize that. Mourn not. Allow yourself to go through the natural rhythms of mourning, but allow yourselves to come and look at the truth behind what it is that you're mourning. My experience. I got to testify. I got to testify. Look, I got to testify, boo, because I've had the experience. The devastating experience through my grandchild at 7 months. Whoa, hold up. How in the world is something so beautiful and stuff come into my world, and then now this child is gone? How is it that I was able to see and watch all 5 of my children grow up, but then it come to my grandchild and I lose my grandchild? Like, oh my God. So it gave me a place within these past 2 years of her transition to really look at the truth of myself and the rest of the things of my mother's behaviors and certain things that I was and still carrying and holding on inside of me that made me the grandmother that I did not want to be. Because I would have been still fully in the image of that. My mother was the grandmother, the thing anaconda, interfering in places and doing things and overriding and doing. So it was not my time. So I had to go through my grief through hard truths. I'm recording through my hard truths that I had to face. So now I'm having another grandbaby. And this one is a boy, and it's going to be named after my son. Actually due on June the 21st, the same day that my girls will be rolling out. Anywho, I'm done here. I got other things to do or not do. Because when I not do anything physical or whatever, I'm still doing things internally. But again, I do desire that you connect with that. Don't be afraid of it. It makes us stronger in the end.